this is MJ, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty triangle shawl. It's worked in long double crochet stitches, and I'm going to show you how to do that in single crochet stitches. It's a really simple, quick pattern that you can work really up as big as you want. You can add some fringe. I think I'm going to add some fringe to finish off this one, but you totally don't have to do that. You can leave it as is. So the yarn that I'm using is from We Crochet. It's an Upcycle Reserve Alpaca Blend, and there's 241 yards on a 100-gram ball. So this is a DK weight, but you can really, gauge isn't super important for this pattern. You can really use anything. This yarn's just super soft and squishy, and I'll have links in where you can get that from We Crochet in the description box. You'll also need a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook to work up this shawl. Okay, so you're gonna need to get your hank rolled up into a cake, and I have a video tutorial that shows you how to do that if you've never done that before. And the link will be in the description box for that. And we're gonna start out with a magic ring. So wrap the yarn around your index finger 3 times, take your hook, slide it through all 3 loops, grabbing the first loop and pull it through. And we'll chain 3. I'm just going to get this started working double crochets rather than our long double crochets. So our chain 3 counts as our first double. And I want you to work 2 additional double crochets. Then we'll chain 2, and then we'll work 3 double crochets. Okay, so now we need to pull the ring tight. So take your tail and begin to pull. You'll see that one loop's pulling in, one loop's not. Take the loop that's pulled in, pull it, and it will pull the other loop, and then just take your tail. Now we're going to begin our long double crochets. So what I'm going to do is chain 4. You can really, as long as you want to make your long double crochet, I think I'm going to go with a 4 throughout this pattern, but you can go right up to 6. So what you're going to do is yarn over. We're going to work into that very first stitch. So this counts as our first long. So we're going to go through, pull up a loop, and we want to pull the yarn up now to the height of our chain 4. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So again, yarn over, we're going back down into that same stitch, pulling up a loop, and pull it all the way up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So our first, including our chain 4, is 3, and then we work across to our chain 2 space. So yarn over, we're always having to pull that up, and then complete the double crochet. I like to make sure I have some yarn pulled so it doesn't pull on me like that. And once you get to the chain 2 space, we'll work a long double crochet, and then we'll chain 2 and work a long double crochet all in the chain 2 space. Okay, and then we'll work up. So we've worked the 2, and then we're getting to our turning chain, and we need to add 3 so that we're equaling the other side. So 1, 2, and 3. So this row is now worked in single crochet, but what I'm going to do, a chain 1 is really small for the turning chain, so I'm going to chain 2 instead. I'm going to turn, so that chain 2 is counting as our first single crochet, and then I'm going to add 2 single crochet in the same space, and then we're going to single crochet across, oops, every stitch. Okay, and now I'm to the chain 2 space again. So we'll work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2 space. Then I'll work a single crochet all the way across until we get to the turning chain. So now at the turning chain, we're going to work 3 single crochet. And then we're going to alternate now back and forth. We'll do a long double crochet row, and then we'll do a single crochet row. And that is, it's just going to keep increasing as we go. There's nothing else we're going to be adding to this pattern. It's just a repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4 counts as our first long double crochet. Turn, and in the first stitch, we're adding 2 long double crochet. And then you just work your long double crochet all the way across until you get to the chain 2, and in the chain 2, a long double, chain 2, and a long double. Work all the way up this side, and then add 3 in the turning chain. So I'm going to work down until I get to the chain 2, and then I'll meet you up. So I'm up to the chain 2, so we'll do a long double, chain 2, and a long double, all in the chain 2 space. And then I'll work across here, and when I get to the turning chain, I'll meet you up again. Turning chain for the chain 2 is going to be really tiny, and doing the chain 2 is definitely easier to get than the chain 1. So we're just going to squish in there to that chain 2 turning chain, and we need to add 3. Whoops, sorry, I'm losing my yarn a lot today. Okay, so go through, pull up, and we're wanting to do that 3 times. We'll chain 2 and turn, and then we're doing the single crochet. So this is how it's kind of looking. You can sometimes, it can look kind of weird. Blocking will help to make it all look really nice when we're finished. And I'm just going to be working a bit more of this other one. And really it's like you can keep going until you get it as big as you want. I'm working with 2 hanks for the size I'm making my shawl, but you could go even bigger and do 3. So I'm going to continue working with mine. You can just keep repeating your pattern, and I'll meet you back to let you know how many total rows that I did for my size. Okay, so I continued to work my shawl until I had 16 rows of our long double crochet. And once I got to that point, I did 2 additional rows of single. So I didn't finish with just the 1 row of single, I did an additional one as well. And that just helps finish the edge a little bit nicer. And then what I did is I cut strands of yarn for the fringe. So I cut them about 12 inches in length, and then I'm doing 2 every other stitch. So this takes a little bit of time, but I just sat in the evening while watching TV and cut up several strands of these. Basically everything I had left in yarn. And then this is how you can attach the fringe. I already attached this piece once, so it's a little curled. So you just grab it and pull it through. And then those ends, you can steam it and trim the ends if you want. I ended up just using my steamer to block it, so I just laid it out and steamed it. It actually came out fairly well, but you can lay it down, wet it, and pin it to measurements. I just found it did come out really nice without the blocking, so I just steamed it to do it quickly. But what you would do is wet your shawl. I'll give you the measurements to pin it out to, and then allow it to fully dry. But like I said, this yarn, depending on what yarn you use, this is a limited availability with Weave Crochet, but you can use any DK weight yarn. I'll have some suggestions for you on the blog as to what other types of yarn you can use.